you for joining us for live paranormal radio. From the paranormal to the unexplained, it all happens here.
Okay, having technical difficulties trying to play Erik's intro, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Thank you for joining us for live paranormal radio. From the paranormal to the unexplained, it all happens here. It all happens here. Looking to enhance your radio experience? Participate in our live video chat 24/7 with our live paranormal radio show hosts and other like-minded people. Live. Paranormal.com, the only interactive social chat room supported by Full Interaction Media. Stop by now and join the fun.
Hang on, people. I'm going to use y'all for a guinea pig. Let me see if I can get this to work. Come on, Erik's intro. Now, let's just play the same dang thing. That's so uncool. Anyway, I'll talk to the producer and see what's going on. But, hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. Erik is probably chomping at the bit, as we say in Texas, to get started here. And first, I want to introduce his spirit translator, Kim Babcock. Hey, how's it going, Kim? Tell us about what you're doing and how to connect to you.
Sure. Everything's going fine. I'm joining you guys from Hawaii right now, visiting my sister, so it's been an amazing week so far. I know.
Poor you. Oh.
Right. But as many of you guys know, I have been working with Erik for just about over a year now, and kind of he guided me here and directed me to be here, and I appreciate being a voice for him and bringing him to you guys on this live paranormal platform. So if you guys have questions about who Erik is, what his story is, what he's about, what he does, all of those questions and more, check out channelingerik.com. And you can also find out information about my services at kimbabcock.net. I'm a medium, a spirit translator, and working on spiritual coaching as well. So happy to be here and channel Erik for you guys. It's really passionate about his message today for you guys. So hope you guys have your ears on and ready to listen and your hearts open. He has been talking and sort of yakking in my ear all day today. And he's really, just like you said, at least chomping at the bit to get started. This is something
he's been a nag, right?
A very pleasant one. He's been cracking jokes, and it's funny because I'm trying to get my sister sort of introduced to him, kind of, help her understand his vibes a little bit. And it's pretty cool to watch her pick up on things that are happening before I say anything, or when I feel that he's around or he did something, she's like, did you hear that? Did you see that? Or, whatever. So it's really cool. I love seeing people, new people, come in contact with Erik. It's a lot of fun. So.
Well, when he was alive, he used to be such a nag. It's like, Mom, can we go to Chick-fil-A and blah blah blah, and he'd stick his lower lip out and quiver it. It's like he had me. He had me from the beginning. There's no way that face. No, he can have anything he wants with that face. But anyway, here's what Erik says he wants to discuss for this week's radio show, and this is quotes. Okay, Mom, let's talk about taking people as they are and how to actually do that. That's not easy. When we meet new people, we don't need to have them regurgitate their past to define themselves. We deny ourselves the opportunity to get to know someone when we have them barf up their failures and their past, like, why are you still single? Ooh, burn. Mom, it kind of goes back to expectations, but I want to hit on how to be present with someone, especially when meeting someone new. So, all right, Erik, my main man, take it away.
He says, "What's up, Mom?" And he's
hi, baby. I love you so much.
Says,
and a shout out to your brother Lucas. Happy birthday, Lucas.
That's right. Erik is like, how when you're done with a hard day's work, you sort of wipe your hands clean and feel like, mission accomplished. That's his birthday wish to his brother, like mission accomplished. Tell him happy birthday.
All right.
So interesting. Interesting about Elisa. He's talking about he's funny. He's commenting on and talking about he loves the way you talk, like the little tics that you have when you when you talk, and
My
the
tics.
way you emphasize like certain words and change your tone.
I'm nerdy. It's a nerd factor coming through. I know.
He's so sweet though. But and it was funny because when I asked him about what he wanted to talk about with this show, he got so descriptive, and I started feeling sick because he kept using the words barf and vomit. He's like, why do we make people barf up their past? Like, like you said, why are you still single, or what's your story? And he's like, yeah, everybody has a story, everybody has a past, but we're not there. So be present with someone. That's what I want to teach you guys, how to do that and why it's important, he says. And he kind of rolled his eyes, and he took like a big deep exhale, and he said, oh God, is it important? So it's because the bigger picture is he's acting really goofy. He goes, wait, stop. Make sure I said I love you. So he's saying that again to you, Mom.
I love you. I love you so much, baby. I miss you.
He says, I miss you. He's standing in this pose, Elisa. You know how I don't know why this is significant, but he wants me to share it. Like if you're watching old westerns and they were getting ready to have a draw, like where they, the quickest one to draw and shoot is, wins, obviously.
Uh-huh.
But he's like standing in that position like he's about to draw. Like he's
no.
Very interesting. But, he says the bigger picture here is about teaching you to move into a place of acceptance, and especially with people. He says, God, he's being so goofy. He kind of threw his head back, and he's playing the drums for whatever reason. And he said, good God Almighty, he's like, we're a country that continues to focus on division. He wants to create unity through the message that he's offering today. So the way he says, there's so many ways, Mom. Okay, God, he is just all over the place today. He's playing the drums.
Erik, settle down, buddy. Settle down. Poor Kim.
He's so sweet though, but I don't know if he ever played the drums in his physical life, but he's playing the drums, and I was like, man, I kind of dig that beat. You can keep it going. I can hear you. And he's like, all right. So anyway, he's all over the place, but he says it's important to help you understand and help you move into a place of acceptance, because not only are you putting yourself at your highest potential, like your highest vibration, obviously, but he uses the word potential, to succeed. He says you're also giving yourself a more awakened state of awareness, more aligned with your current reality. And then in that, Mom, he says, in that alignment and through that, you'll have much more authentic connection with the new people that you meet. So even if it's trying to get over something that happened in the past, and if this isn't a new person, but let's say it's a friendship and you guys had a tiff in the past, he says, to take people as they are now means to be with them in the now. He says it doesn't do. Okay, he's gonna explain a lot here, so bear with me. He says it doesn't do you any good.
Okay, I'll brace myself. Brace yourself, everybody.
He's chattering a lot, and he says it doesn't do you any good to pull up a chair, sit down, say nice to meet you, tell me about your past. He says you'll get there. He says, but why do we, as a culture, as a people, he says, why do we start looking for red flags? He says that's what I want to weed out here. I want to help you.
Is it just we want to compare ourselves to others? Like, hey, are you just as miserable as I am? Or maybe your past has been worse than mine. Is it something like that?
He says, well, sometimes, Mom, it's trying to find common ground. And we have this in common, we have that in common. He says, he says a lot of times people forget to see who they are now, ask who they are now, and be with who they are now rather than, dig up the past. And he says, we're looking for, places to stick a red flag, like, oh, that's a red flag. And he says, what I'm talking about here is, okay, I got to find out what kind of person you are, but we do that through our filters, he says. I got to find out what I like about you if you're my type, whether it's a friend, whether it's an intimate type of, connection or whatever. He says, if you're only going to see other people the way that you want to see them in accordance to your terms and your, expectations, all of those things, because you're not giving yourself a fair chance to meet anybody new or even learn from and grow from new people.
Sure, that's very limiting. Sure.
But he says, now bear with me. He goes, I hear you guys, to be knowledgeable of who you're with and find that common ground, because that's how, that's the illusion. Okay, wait, he just lost me. Hold on. Okay. He says, but that's
back
the
up,
illusion.
Erik.
Yeah, he's funny. He says that's the illusion when you look and you say, okay, let's find something in common. Oh, you're in the Army, I'm in the Army. Okay, cool. We have that common ground. Or you're a single parent, I'm a single parent. Cool. We have something in common. But he says, while it might be a fact, the illusion here is about the connection you're creating. He says the connection has nothing to do, and bear with me, he says, connection that you create has nothing to do with the physicality to it. Again, physicality being maybe you're a single parent, you both have that in common. Maybe you're both, work the same kind of job, you have that in common. He says the common ground is your ability to accept someone. That's where you truly find commonality. That's when you allow yourself to align with somebody as they are, accept them as they are in the present. That's when you really find that chemistry. He goes, you guys call it chemistry, and he's using air quotes. And he says that's what true chemistry is, Mom. And he's kind of laughing. He's like, she's going to get a kick out of this because she's a scientist.
God, here we go. Attack the scientist.
Being led by the heart and feeling connected before the mind says, okay, who are you? Tell me about your past. Tell me about, your ethnicity. Tell me about your job, your family life. This is a true connection, a true common ground understanding is acceptance that is being led by the heart and aware from the heart in that state of existence, Mom, because that's when you truly find chemistry with somebody.
I believe that. So, it has to be made on a heart level.
Yeah, exactly. And he goes, I'm going to flip the table a little bit. Meeting, let's say you're dating, okay, and he says, maybe you are single with a kid or a couple kids, or maybe you're just 40 and single and you've never been married. Why do we automatically assume that should be a red flag? He's like, what are these societal beliefs that put us into that negative headspace? And he goes, that's fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So he says that's where ego comes into play, and he's like, then we have to judge and blah. And so he says he's so expressive today. It's funny. But he says if you truly want to find something, and even he says if you walk away, oh my God, you go away thinking, God, we have nothing in common. He says, brace yourself. I'm going to re-roll with you. He says you're probably acting on a very surface level state of awareness. If you shift into your heart space, he says, I promise you will find a way to relate, because that's the essence of who we all are. And he's like, yay, hooray! That's today's message. Oh my God, he's so funny. But he says, and he's using all kinds of visuals too, like how if you watch TV shows and you can see sort of behind the scenes where they light up the sign for applause.
Oh yeah, right.
That's what he just showed me. So he's like having the crowd applaud for him. But he says, you are 40 and never been married, or maybe you're 30 and you're single with a bunch of kids. He says you wouldn't want somebody asking you to barf up your past and all your failures. Well, why are you single? What happened? He says what happens is when we do that to someone else, or even when we go there, we push them into the past. We push them into that state of awareness again. We continually, unfortunately and unfairly, he says, and subconsciously, push them back into that awareness, back into that state of reality. When we say, well, what happened? Why are you single? What happened in your last marriage? Why are you divorced? He says, allow yourself to move forward from that and grow with them, however it's going to grow. If it just is a friendship, again, an intimate relationship, he says, too many people go here, Mom, instead of here. And he points to the head first and then the heart.
Oh, yeah.
He says, and then the head has to judge. He's like, oh, then we have to judge. Well, they do this, they're not my type. He says, I'm going to challenge you guys. He's holding up his index finger, and he says,
uh-oh. Better than his middle finger.
No kidding. He says, I'm going to challenge you guys. When you try to sort things out through your head, well, I should do this or I should do that because it makes sense and I just don't know, or he says, stop thinking. He says this kind of stuff all the time. He says, stop thinking and feel. And even if you can't do that, if you're not sure what you feel, then have faith in the process, though. He says the process with the universe. He says, I said, I'm surprised that you said with instead of the process of the universe. And he said, well, you're a part of it. So that's why he says the process with, because it's
that makes sense.
He does to show like togetherness. So all of you to this is where he wants to challenge you guys to step away from saying, oh, they're not my type, I don't really hang out with people like that, or whatever it may be. He says types are judgment that derives from ego, which is embodied in fear. He says, so if fear is your motivation to make your decisions, he goes, then you have to start all over. Like he just kind of scribbles all over this piece of paper and says, then it's all messed up. You got to start over. So if you are finding yourself, think, oh, using that. Oh man, he goes.
Yeah. Poor Kim.
He goes. He's so funny today. He goes, fuck the F word. It's the T word I don't like. The type. Is that your type? What type? He's like, why do we have to even make people a type?
We categorize everything. We compare, categorize, label, sort. That's the human thing.
Yeah, exactly. And he says, and then it stays in that box, Mom, in your head. And then, oh, well, they're that type. And then they can't be anything different in your head. And not only are you punishing yourself because you can't get to know them, but you're punishing them because you don't give them the opportunity. And
you put them in a jail cell. That's pretty much. You put them in a box where they can't escape.
Yeah,
they don't have a
and
chance.
He kind of bounces his eyebrows, and he's like, Mom, that's so messed up. He's like, but we do it so common that we don't even see it anymore. So he goes, I want you guys to start banning the T word. He's like, I
good
the F word, T word, no more types. Don't put people in categories, and just, he says that's what creates division. And he really softens his tone, kind of quiets down and settles down. And he looks down. He's like sitting, and his shoulders are all slumped over. He says, I just want to create unity. And he's just really humble with that statement.
Well, we need that a lot now. We really do. And these are very wise words. If we can just stop putting limits on people and stop just categorizing them and putting expectations on them, then we might get along with more people than we think.
That's so true. He says there would be so much more unity, Mom, on the fundamental level, like on the level at which we all began, like the level that is our foundation, the essence of who we all are. We're all a people. Relating this to the debate right now, like the presidential race, and he's sort of addressing that unity too, and how again, we fall into these types and we put them in those categories, and so he wants to talk about like the effects of that is what he's trying to address. Right now he's like we're a country, we are a world of types. We put everybody under categories, labels, and I want to help people get away from that, because that's where he says when you have less need to do that, you're visiting your heart space. when you just really accept people for how they are and who they are, you know that you're revisiting your heart space. You're realigning, he said.
All right, so basically open your heart, open your mind, people.
Yeah, he's talking about like the heart space.
There we go. That sounds good. That sounds like a good place to be. Well, do you have anything else to say about this, Erik, or would you like to go ahead and start taking callers?
He says, Mom, I love you. He's like shouting it, and then he says, he's playing the drums again, and he says to tell Lucas, and he's encouraging all the listeners to also give his brother a birthday wish. So happy birthday, Lucas.
Happy birthday, Lucas.
I have to ask you, did he ever play the drums, or was he just like into music?
Oh, he always,
I know he was into
really
music,
funny,
but
well, he loved the drums. He loved all that. He wanted the drum set so badly, but I just couldn't have it. Oh, yeah, no, in my house.
Oh, wow.
But he used to, the first medium we went to, he kept drumming on the guy's leg. So there is a connection there, certainly. So, yeah. But anywho, I guess we'll go ahead and take the first caller because we have so many of them now. So first we have somebody from the 857 area code. Hi, from the 857 area code. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi. This is Joe from Boston.
Hi, Joe from Boston.
Hi, Lisa and Erik and Kim. I can't believe I made it first on the calls. I'm a little nervous, but
don't be nervous.
No, it's just us. It's just us.
I know, but I am a little.
A couple of moms and a dead guy. That's all. Okay.
But my mom, Lisa, I sent you a photo. I don't know if you remember the orb photo, the spirit orb photo. I guess you called it. Erik works his magic. I'm from Boston. I don't know if you remember that. It was like Erik Encounters. It was like a.
I kind of do. I get sent a lot of orb photos, but.
Anyway, well, it was like I often pray to my mom and Erik, and I got this. I said, give me a sign that if you're listening, and then it showed up on my phone.
I remember. I remember now. Yeah.
And I would love to know. Maybe I could make an appointment with Kim, or maybe if she could look at. I would like to learn more about that photograph because I found it so fascinating when it showed up on my phone. And it was just eerie, and it was a beautiful photo. I'm always a skeptical too. I'm like, well, is this real? And so I was just wondering maybe if I wanted more information about that photo, would I set up an appointment with Kim and send or something to get a reading on it or something like that?
Sure, we can definitely do that. But
who was the orb? Was it really an orb? First of all.
Well, they showed up. I prayed to my mom. Her name is Dorothy. She passed away last year on April 21st, and I pray to her all the time.
Birthday.
And I go, that's your birthday? And anyway, I said, well, Ma, give me a sign, and I talked to Erik and other family members, and I just looked on my camera, and this beautiful bright light was there with a bunch of faces. It looked like spherical faces in there. And it kind of was eerie. It was beautiful at the same time, but I just wanted to learn more about it. But I know you can't do it over the phone. Well, actually, I just want to say a shout-out. I want to say hello to my mom, Dorothy. I know you guys can't channel anybody, but I just want to say hello to my mom, Dorothy, too.
Hi, Dorothy.
Listen, Erik has a lot to say to you, actually, about this. But, Jill, first of all, Erik says, just like what he was saying, he says, and already have the answers in your heart. You know what that experience was. And he says to remind you that, okay, this is really fascinating, though, because I've never really heard him talk about stuff like this in this way, that sometimes if you yourself are unable to sort of be the channel, devices can be the channel, Mom. He says, we all know this, but he wants to sort of reiterate it. So, like, what he's showing is when you're in a space vibrationally, it's like your camera, your phone, your electronic device plays off of your energy and your vibration and can capture your loved ones. Like, he's showing, like, that. I don't know how to put this into words, but he's showing the camera being like the channel, the conduit So it's really
Right.
fascinating, and especially he says, like, if you call for us, if you know, ask for us, whatever it may be, it's going to be that much more intense. But he says,
Well, was the orb Dorothy?
Yeah, my mom Dorothy, and you did
What
put
do
her
you
on
think,
your.
Eric? Was that definitely Dorothy, the orb?
He says it
Eric?
was, Mom, and that's why, you know, it was. And he says, but he already knows that. He says Joe already knows that. He's looking for validation and confirmation. He knows in his heart, though.
Right, I knew it was, but you know, there was a part of your mind that says, you know, can this be real? You know, you're always a little bit of a skeptic.
Sure.
Well,
sure.
that's
Been
wonderful.
there, done that.
Yeah. But anyway, I really appreciate all your work. I just want to add one more thing. I feel like I'm a very spiritual person, but sometimes I'm alone. I call myself a loner. But I like being alone, and I know I don't know. Maybe you guys could do a show on like intimacy. Like I have a lot of acquaintances, but not a lot of real friends. It's like, can Erik just elaborate on that? It's okay to be a loner, right?
I'm kind of the same way. I totally get you. I have a lot of acquaintances, but no really deep, strong connections outside of my family, of course. But yeah, I don't think it's that uncommon.
Yeah, and after an hour, I don't even like to talk after a while. I shut down, and I don't know if that's I just but that when I'm alone, I'm listening to music and I'm singing and I'm free, and like when I'm alone, and then when I'm around other people, I sort of like feel trapped. But in any event,
maybe you're a teacher. Maybe you're here to teach, and you know you have students coming in and out of your life that you never did get totally attached to. But I don't know. I'll let Erik figure that out. Erik, go for it, dude.
Yeah, he's like, thanks, Mom. But he says, his response just about brought me to tears, Joe. He says, he just says with this beautiful, smooth tone in his voice, he says, it's a beautiful thing when somebody is okay with being alone. Whether it's alone, literally away from people, or alone, meaning like not in a relationship, not having that need shows a higher sense of consciousness, a higher sense of development at the conscious level. Because when you are, there's no need, or you're not searching for fulfillment by being with other people. You've already understood it within. When you're with other people, it can just be icing on the cake. And he says the couple other things he wants to address for you. He says, you know, when you get to where you don't even want to talk anymore, you just want to sit in silence, that's a more authentic, organic state of awareness, existence, he says. Because when he goes, Mom, this is really, really deep. And for some reason, he's associating this with like monks, like Tibetan monks. I have no idea what their beliefs are about talking or anything. But he's showing like when you even separate from the need to talk and express yourself for happiness or fulfillment, it's a much deeper awareness and contentment with that state of consciousness. He's like,
wow.
He wants to compare that to, there are people that feel like they can never get enough in. They always have to have the last word. They always are like overly expressive. You know what I mean? Basically, it's an extremely balanced, well-balanced throat chakra. But he says there are people that, you know, love to be around people and really come alive that way, but doesn't mean that they're bad or that it's wrong, he says. But when you find that fulfillment and just contentment with being alone and not depressed with it, he says that speaks very highly of you.
Way to go.
That's good to hear. Yeah, well, thank you.
I hope that helps.
It does. Thank you so much. You guys are the best.
Oh,
you're the
so
best.
welcome.
Are you
Thanks
kidding me?
calling.
You're the best. And thanks so much for calling in. I want to give a shout out to Live Paranormal. I want to give a shout out to liveparanormal.com because, you know, again, we would not have this platform if it weren't for them. They got some great shows. Check it out, people.
That's right.
Anyway, let's go on to our next caller. 812 area code.
Hold on.
It's all about the eights now. All about the eights. 812. Hi. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you there? You're there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What would you like to ask Erik? Well, first of all, where are you from?
I'm from Bloomfield, Indiana.
Okay. Hi. What's your first name?
My name's Jenna.
Hey, Jenna. What you got for Erik?
Hi. I would like to ask, I've been seeing some strange things in the sky lately. And I was just wondering if maybe he can tell me what I am seeing. It kind
Great
of
question.
Yeah,
definitely not like an airplane.
this is a pretty cool question. My sister and I sat on the beach last night till really late, where it was all you could see was the stars, and we saw some really freaky, funky things in the sky last night too. It was pretty cool. Okay, let me see what Erik says about. This is his words for verbatim. You're experiencing an altered state of consciousness. It's like you're seeing other realms, other dimensions, like with your naked eye, like not with your third eye, but it's like with your naked eye. So,
wow.
But he says it has a lot to do with your vibration, where you're resonating, where your frequency is, as far as your ability to see it with the naked eye. But he says that you're very objective. So it's like you're just very unbiased, no judgment. Whereas most people put filters in place and before they, it's subconsciously though, they don't even realize that they have these filters in place. And he says that's why they can't see them. So it's a more, he says it has everything to do with you and where you resonate. And
kudos to you, girl. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
It's just a more like. He says it's a more authentic state of awareness that is, kind of just piggybacking off of like what we've been talking about in a state of acceptance. So you're much more able to accept what you see. So like I feel like what you're actually seeing is just different types of beings from other realms, because it's not associated. I said, is it birds? Is it our loved ones interacting, planes? What is this? And he said, no, it's none of that. It's like you're somehow like tapping into or seeing other realms. But
that's
it's
awesome.
Like, and I have no idea where this comes from, but you know how if you like, what it looks like when you're watching your camera, like zoom in and zoom out, and it goes like in and out of focus. You know what I mean? Like that's what he's showing, like through your eyes. Like you come in and out of that connection to other realms. Like he's showing your focus kind of bouncing back and forth, coming in and out. So,
oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and he wants, what he says to you? He wants you to. He says now, the next time you experience that, be mindful. So what he means is be aware of the context of your entire beingness at that moment. What are you doing? What are you thinking about? What are you, what's in your heart? Where are you? Think of all of those things when you have these experiences and start to recognize the patterns, and then, it just evolves from there. So, but it's the more mindful you can be with it, the more you'll understand what's happening and why. So it's really... Go ahead.
That's interesting.
Oh, I was just going to say that's really cool, because they
You're
just
kind of special,
all of a sudden, they just disappear. Like
says,
I don't.
So that's the focusing out. You focus in and then you focus out and they disappear. That's really cool.
Interesting.
Great question.
He says a lot of people wouldn't be able to see this, deal with this, or handle this because they would default to fear, like just become frightened or tense. And for you, it's more like, oh, I just saw that. What was that?
Right.
She's a
I
badass.
have been welcoming any contact.
So she's a badass,
really
right,
cool.
Erik? She's a badass. No fear.
He says she is,
That's
Mom,
right.
but she doesn't see it yet. He's like, she hasn't aligned with it yet.
Oh, I'm trying.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Well, thank you for calling in.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. let's do a 928 area code next on the list. Hello. How are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey.
I'm doing well.
Who's this?
This is Andrew from Sedona again.
I knew it. I knew
Hi,
it. I swear to God,
thought
I knew
I recognize your voice.
Hi.
What you got for Erik?
I had a question about music.
Mm-hmm.
Now what I do is I work with food, and one of the aspects of it is that I play with music or use the energy of the environment to impact the way the food is made. Now I've come from a period of time where I listened to a lot of music that was maybe more of a method of me being able to channel my anger or the anger that I picked up in the environment. And now I'm having a hard time knowing what kind of music to play that is playful but also like healing. And I know Erik loves music, so I thought maybe he could help figure that out. And I'm going to see you guys in Sedona.
Oh, sweet. Awesome.
Yeah.
So how can you help him, Erik? Shed some light on things, Erik.
Yeah.
This is a really cool question.
It is.
And his answer is kind of blowing my mind because I feel like a failure at life now based on his answer because I'm like, why did I never stop to like think about it that way? So he's like, okay, there's three pieces to the puzzle or three ingredients to the recipe, right? He says.
Uh-huh.
He says we're talking about music. We're talking about like energy, vibrations, emotions. There's a lot of ingredients. Okay, he goes, I give it up. So what he's saying is, first of all, oh man, this is really fascinating. When you think about food, when you think about music and energy, and how they all mix, okay? Every one biofield touches another, right? So there's nothing ever that's really separate. Separateness is an illusion. Okay, so now when we're talking about food, he says if you're preparing food in correlation to music, he says take it back to the emotion. That's why we play music, to to live, express, or fulfill what we're feeling emotionally. So he says, would you eat it if you were eating emotions? Would you eat it? If it was jealousy, would you ingest it? Okay, so let me show you where he's going with this. If it's anger or hate, would you ingest it? If it's sorrow, okay, it's kind of, oh man, God, there's so much that he's.
Slow down, Erik.
Yeah, he's like just talking about this is like in reference to Dr. Emoto studies and the way that energy affects your food vibrationally affects you at the core level, at the cellular level, physically, he says. So when you're preparing food, he kind of laughs and says, I know it's like beating a dead horse, but prepare it with love. He says, because you are putting energy, it's psychometry, you're putting energy into an object with matter, that food with validity to it. So he says, music is no different. If you're putting your emotion through your music while you're preparing food, that food will embody that, and then you'll ingest it. And then he says, imagine the world of difference you can make for yourself if you carry that mindfulness, attention to it. So he says, when you if you prepare something with, okay, this is funny. Let's say this, there's times where you're like, oh my God, you're pissed off at your spouse. You don't want to cook for him, but you do. You make food for him, and you're like irritated. Here's your food. You're irritated, whatever. And you just put that energy into their food, so it's probably going to bring their vibration down.
You got to poison them.
He says based on what you just did energetically. So he says, this goes back to ancient times, though, too. He says, why do you think people pray over their food? They put that emotion into it, vibrationally changes it, vibrationally cleanses it because of the way it affects your body. It's a direct correlation, Mom. He says, it's important when you play music to be mindful of what it does to you emotionally, because you're putting that vibration into your food and then into your body. So it's like come full circle, he says, to be aware of that. And if you haven't heard of Dr. Emoto, he wants you to look up
His
research.
awesome.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
because this has everything to do with what this man proved to us. So for those of you listening that don't know who he is, it's Dr. Emoto. And this is a direct reference, he says, to it's the very same concept. So even, that doctor studied water molecules with music. And what happened to them was like hard, heavy metal versus like meditation music. The water molecules created symmetry and asymmetry in response to the music. So be very aware that you do the very same thing through your emotions. Sorry, that was a lot, but he got jacked up. He likes this question. He likes talking about that.
Of course, it's all about music, man. So did that
very
help you?
True. Yeah.
I hope that helped you.
That's perfect. You guys are so great, and I look forward to seeing you.
Good. Yes.
All right. Look forward to
awesome.
seeing you too, sweetie. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Fascinating. The questions
cool.
that our blog members or our listeners come up with are just amazing.
I know.
I'm in
awe.
I
know. I feel like, man, now I need to slow down and really be mindful with when I eat, what emotion I'm putting into it.
So I want to give one last plug to liveparanormal.com. Thank you so much for giving us this platform. Check out their other shows, dudes. And we got somebody now from the 808 area code. Let me see who that is. Hello, 808 area code. Who?
It's me.
Who is
it's
this?
me. It's me. Is it me?
It's you.
Hello?
Of course it's you.
Yes. This is Hawaii. Kim, welcome to Hawaii. Do you love it?
Thank you. I do love it. I heard you say 808.
I think she wants to move. She wants to move over there. She's sick of Ohio.
Listen, we just went to the only reason I knew that you were Hawaii is because we went to a tattoo shop that was called 808 Tattoo, and we looked up the address obviously to go there, and it was the zip code. I was like, or the so the area code, and so I was like, oh, this has got to be a Hawaii call. Very cool. Anyway, thanks for calling in. That's
awesome.
Question.
Oh, thank you guys so much. And seriously, Alicia, if it wasn't for you and your strength, man, my life is so good right now. And I just met Erik right in the beginning of the year, and it was really random. And somebody posted a video about Jesus, and it blew my mind away. I was like, oh my God, this is authentic. I could just tell, like, everybody's hearts were in it. And so that just started everything, and I went to the blog. And honestly, when I was watching that Jesus video, I thought there was 3 people in the room. I had no idea. I did not know the backstory whatsoever. And then when I started
there was
reading
definitely only 2 people, so that was cool.
Yeah, so when I started reading your website, I was like, oh my God, the kid's dead. I mean, I'm sorry to put it so bluntly, but I was just blown away, and I was just a believer.
Sure.
So from there, it just started a chain of events of me trying to really find myself, because I was going through a really rough patch in my life. So now that I see things a lot clearly and I'm on this path, I really, 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 really want to know what my spirit guides' names are. So I can address them by name and say thank you. I know they know I say thank you all the time, and I get all these signs every day, and I've been so open to it and just not hesitating about it, and everything just plays. I don't know. I wish everybody could feel this way. But yeah, thank you so much.
Too.
Yeah.
So what are their names?
Like stepping
Erik?
outside of yourself.
Yes. Erik, what are her main guides' names? And are you one of her guides?
He says, he goes, duh.
I knew it. I felt like he was one of your guides, girl. I swear to God.
Oh,
wow.
I feel it, too, because he did mess with me many times. And the other day while I was just, by myself meditating, somebody kicked my fan. And that's, the first time I ever, I seen the fan, literally move like somebody kicked it, trying to get my attention.
Oh, yeah, he's done
so
that.
Who kicked my fan?
That's him. That's him.
Yeah, that's so
Okay.
funny.
So he's giving you your guide name, and it's extremely funky. So if you want to write down the spelling, I'll give you the pronunciation, and then he's like spelling it, and it's insane. This, though, I will tell you, it feels very feminine. The energy feels very feminine. This is one of your most primary guides. Erik says that has been with you since birth and will be with you throughout the duration of this entire life.
Oh my God, I want to cry.
Okay, so the name is insanely gorgeous. It's okay. Here's what it sounds like. Oyana. Sounds like Oyana, and it's like okay. Here we go with the spelling. IEUX, like A or UANA. It's like Oyana. That's what it sounds like. That's my best guess at the spelling as far as like what I can see.
Oyana. But the I at the end, that's like Oyana.
It's
trippy.
Like, yeah, it's like IEUX UANA. It's like Oyana.
UANA. Oh, that's trippy.
Very.
That is very trippy.
It's so trippy because everybody has a path and you can't rush it. It's so trippy. You totally can't rush it, and you just have to go through it. And like knowing that, because if Erik, he's one of my guides. He knows exactly what I went through and all the horrors that I didn't know that I went through. That having to go through this journey that I'm going through, I discovered, and it just my family's really messed up. Yeah.
Wow.
I have a brother. Three of my immediate family members already passed away, and I feel like that we were all brought into this life spiritually connected, and it's so twisted, but I've accepted it. It's so weird, like I'm in my own movie, accepting that I'm in this movie.
Erik says that the purpose in you going through this is very similar to my mom. He says it's to bring your beliefs, to help your beliefs transcend what you can touch, what you can feel with like all of your physical senses, to help your beliefs transcend through all of that and go to and align with. And on the other side, in the afterlife, he says the purpose in what you've gone through is to bring your awareness to the afterlife, basically, in the existence of it. So Oyana has been a very strong support, he says, for you to help you see and understand this. And it's interesting, too, because Erik says, he'll show you where they are placed above you, again, as like a guide. But it's also symbolic where they go in the horizontal plane. So your guide, Oyana, goes behind you, and that's to show support also. So she works very much to make you feel supported. To go in front of you is to show guidance, continually guiding you. But she actually places herself above you to show that she's a guide. So it's really interesting symbolically how she's trying to communicate that. But Erik,
am I getting it? Am I getting it? Am I getting it? I mean, I'm just really curious. Am I on the right path? Am I getting it? Or am I...
Erik says to tell you you're never not getting it. Nobody is. Nobody's ever missing it. You're always experiencing what you're supposed to. Even if it is
experiences are experiences. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go on to I think I'll go on to the...
All right, thank you guys
so much. Squeeze in one more caller. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Aloha.
Last caller. We got somebody from what was it? 647 area code. Hi there.
Hello?
Are you there with us?
Oh.
Hi there. We have just a short period of time. I hope that's okay with you.
No, it's totally okay. I have a really quick question. I just want to say I knew I was going to get on, and I was like, Erik, make this happen for me.
All right. That's so cool. He's got your back, girl. He's got your back.
Oh, it's so funny. And I noticed that, all the callers were so quick today. I'm like, Erik, you're getting me on. Okay, so quick question. Oh, my God, so I just wanted to know, my higher self. So specifically about my love life, what my higher self has to say.
Your higher self, Erik says, Erik's just going to translate for your higher self to make it quick. He says that your higher self says that you're looking for purpose in everything. Sometimes he says while understanding purpose is very valuable, he says don't get too wrapped up in it because you can miss everything else. He says that you're really focused on purpose even in an intimate relationship and love life. So, when it comes to, it's back up, accept it for what it is. This goes back to what we kind of opened with in the show, like no types, just accept people for how they are. And you'll find yourself, he kind of laughed, said, you'll find yourself surprised. So it seems like in your love life you're going to come to some experiences that you wouldn't have been open to before. He says no surprises. He says you don't like surprises in that way. But he says that don't fixate too much on the purpose of why am I meeting this person? What are they here to teach me? What am I supposed to learn from this experience? If you're constantly analyzing it, you're going to miss it, he says.
Oh, that's so true.
Go from the heart. So he says, as soon as you shift your awareness into the heart and let go of the purpose of the relationship, he says, boom, it'll be there.
Kind of just like let it flow.
Right, and he's bouncing his eyebrows, and he says, you'll find intimacy, and he says it like that. He's like, gets real whiskey with his S's.
He's been so good to me throughout this whole thing, and I just want to thank him. I just want to thank you, Elisa and Kim, for sharing him with us in the ways that you do.
Sure. That's so sweet.
So
Erik,
much.
keep having her back, okay? Help her find love.
He says, I will, but tell her to thank herself.
Tell me what?
He says, tell her to thank herself, because if you keep an open heart and just roll with it, you're the one doing yourself a favor. He says, I just have to remind you.
Okay, so should I just keep on the road that I'm on?
Thank you for calling in.
Thanks. Thank you. Have a great night, guys. Love you. Bye.
You too. Love you too. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us in our show. I thought it was I learned so much. I really did. And thank you so much, Kim. Thank you, Erik. I love you so much more than you even know. I love you infinity to the moon and back of infinity times. And I miss you so much.
He says, I love you, Mom. He says, I miss you. He's again.
You guys check out. Check out Kim Babcock's. Check out Kim Babcock's. Site and join us on the tour. It's kimbabcock.net, and check out our mobile app that puts everything at your fingertips for iOS and Android, and also check out our YouTube channel, which has all sorts of fascinating YouTubes. Anything else you want to add, Erik or Kim?
Guys, a quick reminder I will give you. Remember that September is Suicide Awareness Month, and we all know Erik's story, and through the love of Erik and what his story has brought all of you guys, I encourage you guys all to do whatever you can to raise awareness, open your heart and to help.
Yes, please.
Stay aware,
please.
not just in September, but every day. Remember that, guys. It's so important. But I think you guys all still drumming away on his drum set, happy as can be. So he says thank you, guys, and he kind of salutes to sign off. So I wish you guys all the best. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye, everybody. We love you.
Bye, guys. Thank you, liveparanormal.com.
Yes, thank you so much.